and the world. It is a symbol of it is a symbol of courage and determination as young people come together to demand change and challenge the government in their relentless, unconditional support to an apartheid state of Israel. Their encampment is a testament to the power of unity and collective action as they stand shoulder to shoulder in pursuit of a better future for the Palestinian people. In the Quran, Allah reminds us, يا أيها الذين آمنوا اصبروا وصابروا ورابطوا واتقوا الله لعلكم تفلحون. O you who believe, O believers, be patient, persevere, and help one another in fortitude and resilience, and stay firm on your cause, and remain conscious of Allah that you may be successful. This ayah reminds the believers that no matter what hardship we, individually or collectively, may face, we should always be patient and have resolve. Be firm on our struggles and know that it is only Allah who will get us out of our hardships, because He is always with the patient ones. Inna Allah ma'as sabirin. Indeed, Allah is with the patient ones. In the current struggle between good and evil in the Holy Land, believers are urged to persevere and endure the hardships, be it direct or indirect. We are called on to remain steadfast in our commitment to Allah and the cause of justice. The believers who are being addressed in this Al-Ayah Al-Mubarakah are those who have accepted Islam willingly, lovingly, and strive to live their lives according to its principles and uphold the responsibilities that come with it. Among such responsibilities is commanding the good and forbidding the evil. Al-amiruna bil-ma'rufi wal-nahuna anil munkari wal-hafidhuna li-hududillah. To stand up for justice as witnesses to God. يا أيها الذين آمنوا كونوا قوامين بالقسط شهداء لله. Believers are encouraged to persevere and endure in the face of challenges and difficulties. This includes both external trials and internal struggles. Perseverance refers to the ability to persist and keep going despite obstacles, while endurance involves the ability to withstand hardships with patience and resilience. The brothers and sisters in the Holy Land, particularly in Gaza, who are subject to daily bombardment, displacement, hunger, and starvation, remain steadfast in their struggle for freedom. Their solidarity and resilience in the face of oppression and injustice will, insha'Allah ta'ala, soon pay off. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اصبروا وصابروا ورابطوا واتقوا الله لعلكم تفلحون. لعلكم تفلحون, so you may attain falah and success. Success comes from standing firm in our beliefs and supporting one another with unwavering resolve. The Al-Aqsa flood has reached the shores of almost every country in every continent, and the support for the cause of the Palestinians is overwhelming despite the mainstream media propaganda machine. The flood had reached the streets of New York, Toronto, London, Paris, Berlin, and every major city in the world. The flood had reached campuses of colleges and universities in the US and abroad. Students are protesting the war on Gaza. Pro-Palestinian students' protests and encampments spread coast to coast, including major universities such as Columbia, Yale, Harvard, and New York University, among many others. Thousands of students at more than 130 colleges and universities across the US have demonstrated opposition to the ongoing war in Gaza with protests and encampments. The protests in the US have spilled over to at least 90 campuses around the world. Protesters are calling for a permanent ceasefire in Gaza, an end to the military assistance for Israel, university divestment from arms suppliers and other companies profiting from the war, and an amnesty for students and faculty members who have been disciplined or fired for protesting. Police have been called in to several campuses to arrest demonstrators. More than 2,500 demonstrators have been arrested, and violence has ensued in some campuses, including the UCLA University of California, Los Angeles, where pro Israeli protesters attacked peaceful pro Palestinian protesters. Pro-Palestinian protests, mostly of Muslim and Jewish faith, have attracted students and faculty members of different backgrounds. The main organizers are Students for Justice in Palestine and Jewish Voice for Peace. Never underestimate the power of youth activism, the importance of standing up for justice, and the enduring legacy of solidarity in the face of oppression and adversity. In the late 60s, the world was in turmoil as the Vietnam War raged on and tensions ran high. In the midst of this chaos, a group of courageous students came together to protest the war and demand an end to the senseless violence and bloodshed. In 1968, Hamilton Hall of Columbia University was the first of 5 buildings to be taken over by students protesting against the Vietnam War. Columbia University was the spark that ignited protests in more than 200 colleges and universities across the US and the world today. The 1968 anti-war students' encampment was more than just a protest. It was a symbol of resistance, resilience, and hope. It represented the collective voice of a generation determined to make a difference and bring about a change in the world. The students who participated in the 1968 anti-war encampment embodied the spirit of courage and conviction. The braves and courageous students stood up to the powers that be, risking their safety and security to speak out against war and violence. Their actions inspire us to this day, reminding us of the power of collective action and the importance of standing up for the cause of justice. We see history repeat itself. The voice of our youth risking their lives is a voice of hope and freedom from oppression. Just as the youth of the Vietnam era, with their courage and conviction, brought a change to our world, so will our youth today. They will, insha'Allah ta'ala, bring about a permanent positive change to the plight of the Palestinians. The students are making history. They will be remembered for their sacrifices and their commitment to justice and peace. Let us draw inspiration from their example as we continue our struggles for justice and righteousness in the world. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu isbiru wa sabiru wa rabitu. O you who believe, be patient, persevere, steadfast, help one another in fortitude and perseverance, and be firm. The students' encampment embodies these values of patience, perseverance, and solidarity. Despite facing challenges and obstacles, they remain steadfast in their commitment to justice and equality. Some Jewish students felt unsafe on campus and have accused protesters of anti Semitic chants that made them feel unsafe. Among the chants is "From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free," and the word intifada. President Biden condemned both anti Semitic protests and those who do not understand what's going on with the Palestinians, as if he understands. Under his watch and with his consent, more than 34,000 Palestinians killed, mostly women and children, and more than 75,000 injured, not counting those who vanished under their rubble. More than 1,000 people have been arrested across the United States in crackdowns on universities. Actually, more than 2,500 people or students have been arrested across the United States in crackdowns on university protests against Israeli war in Gaza. And the Israeli lobby is doing all it can to crush the movement. Of course, they are playing the usual anti Semitism card. The word intifada has become synonymous with anti Semitism. Let us understand what intifada is. Literally, it means to shake off or to get rid of. It denotes a rebellion, an uprising, a resistance movement. It refers to an uprising against oppression. Some interpretations view it as a rallying call to harm Jews. Keep in mind that many Jews are among the Palestinian protests. But that is not the intent of the peaceful protesters on campuses. Actually, the first Palestinian Intifada of the 80s was largely non-violent. The Palestinians were killed at a rate of 27 times the number of Israelis that were killed. Actually, Rabin, the then Prime Minister of Israel and Nobel Peace Laureate, said, "Break their bones." The violence largely came from the Israeli side. To be clear, the students are not calling for violence when chanting Intifada. Secondly, the slogan "From the river to the sea." The slogan is typically interpreted as the annihilation and extermination of the Jews, which again is not true. It is to the interest of the Zionists to spin the phrase into such meaning because they are losing the popular opinion. The phrase "from the river to the sea" is a political phrase that refers geographically to the area between the Jordan River and the Mediterranean Sea, an area historically called Palestine, which today includes Israel and the Israeli occupied Palestinian territories of the West Bank and the Gaza Strip. In the 1960s, the PLO, Palestinian Liberation Organization, used it to call for an Arab state encompassing the entirety of mandatory Palestine, which was initially stated to only include the Palestinians and descendants of Jews who had lived in Palestine before 1947. Many Palestinian activists have called it a call for peace and equality. For the Jews, it is seen as a call for the destruction of Israel. The slogan today refers to one democratic state that include everyone, Jews and Muslims, Israelis and Palestinians, with equal rights and freedoms, as opposed to a two-state solution. Bear in mind that a similar slogan has been established by the right-wing Likud party in 1977 election manifesto: "Between the sea and the Jordan, there will only be Israeli sovereignty." Similar wording, such as referring to the area west of the Jordan River, has also been used more recently by another Israeli politicians, including Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu on 18th of January of this year. How come nobody criticizes the Likud party? No, Intifada and from the rivers to the sea are not anti Semitic. We need to be clear that it is the right of the people and students to protest peaceably and express their feelings toward injustice and oppression. This is ingrained in our Constitution, and no one can take this right away from us. The First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution says, I'm quoting, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press or the right of the people peacefully to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. Just as we are allowed to criticize the Biden administration and the American foreign policies, among other policies, we have the right to criticize Israel and the Netanyahu government and their fascist ideology. Being anti Zionist does not mean anti Semitic. They, the Zionists, would like to make it synonymous, but they are not. There are many Jews who are anti-Zionists. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اصبروا وصابروا ورابطوا واتقوا الله لعلكم تفلحون. We call on student protesters and all people of conscience in the US and around the world to remain resilient in the face of injustice and oppression. The struggle must go on for the freedom of the Palestinians and the liberation of Jerusalem and Al-Aqsa Mosque. Those who prevail with tyranny are bound to fall in disgrace. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اصبروا وصابروا ورابطوا. Believers, remain firm and grounded in your cause for justice, regardless of the circumstances or pressures you may face. The ultimate motivation for perseverance and endurance is the taqwa of Allah. Wattaqullah, fear of Allah. This fear based on reverence, awe, and a deep sense of mindfulness of Allah's presence and accountability. It involves striving to please Allah, avoiding disobedience, and fulfilling one's duties and obligations toward Him. Allah promised success for those who persevere, endure, and fear Allah. True success, according to Islam, is not measured solely by material wealth, power, or status in this world, but by attaining Allah's pleasure and mercy and achieving salvation in the hereafter. May Allah help us. May Allah grant us success. May Allah help our brothers and sisters in Palestine. And may Allah keep our students in solidarity and firm in their cause. Ameen. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين والمسلمات فاستغفروه. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والسيد المرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين ثم أما بعد. Brothers and sisters, in times of adversity and oppression, when the weight of injustice bears down upon us, it is essential that we stand together in solidarity, united by our faith, compassion, and shared humanity. Solidarity and resilience in the face of oppression and adversity. Solidarity is the bond that unites us as a community. transcending differences of race, ethnicity, nationality, and creed. It is the recognition that we all are interconnected and that the suffering of one member of our community is felt by us all. مثل المؤمنين في توادهم وتراحمهم وتعاطفهم كمثل الجسد إذا اشتكى منه عضو اشتكى منه سائر الجسد بالسهر والحمى. As the Prophet said, the likeness of the believers, the example of the believers is that of one body. The likeness of the believers in their love and affection and mercy and compassion is like one body. If one limb, one organ of the body aches, the whole entire body aches and suffers sleeplessness. When we stand in solidarity with the oppressed, we affirm our commitment to justice, dignity, and human rights for all people. Resilience, on the other hand, is the strength and fortitude that enable us to endure hardship and adversity without losing hope or giving up. It is the capacity to bounce back from setbacks, to adapt to change, and to remain steadfast in the face of adversity. Resilience empowers us to overcome the challenges we face and to emerge stronger and more determined than ever before. Throughout history, our faith has taught us the importance of solidarity and resilience in the face of oppression. From the struggles of the prophets and righteous individuals to the trials and tribulations faced by our own community, we draw inspiration from those who have come before us and have exemplified these virtues in their lives. In the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reminds us the importance of solidarity when He says, وَاعْتَصِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ جَمِيعًا وَلَا تَفَرَّقُوا. Cling unto the rope of Allah, all of you, and be not divided. The ayah emphasizes the importance of unity and solidarity among believers, regardless of differences and or disagreements. It reminds us that when we stand together as one community, we are stronger and more resilient in the face of adversity, difficulties, and so on. Likewise, the Quran teaches us the importance of resilience when it says, so be patient, indeed the promise of Allah is the truth. This ayah reminds us that patience and perseverance in the face of adversity are essential qualities of faith. It assures us that Allah's promise of justice and reward is true and that our resilience will ultimately be rewarded. As believers, we are called upon to stand with the oppressed and the marginalized, to speak out against injustice, and to work for positive change in our communities. The Students' Encampment provides us with an opportunity to do just that, to stand up for what is right and to support those who are fighting for a better world. Let us rally behind the Students' Encampment with unwavering support and solidarity. Let us offer them our prayers, our encouragement, and our resources as they continue their struggle for justice. And let us never waver in our commitment to stand up for what is right, knowing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is with us in every step of the way. The students inspire us to join them in their struggle, to lend our voices and support their cause. Let us reach out to our brothers and sisters who are suffering and offer them our support and solidarity. Let us speak out against injustice and oppression wherever we find it and work tirelessly to bring about positive change in our communities and societies. And let us draw strength from our faith and from one another as we continue on the path of righteousness and resilience. Last Sunday, a group from the IONA community, about 25 of us, went to University of Michigan Students' Encampment, showed our support. We stood with them in solidarity. It was a great experience. Again, this Sunday, there will be a group going to the same campus in Ann Arbor. If you have time, if you would like to come and join our group, this will be this Sunday. They will meet here at 12 o'clock, and then they will be proceeding to U of M Ann Arbor campus. So it's a way to show your solidarity and support for those students who are putting their lives literally on the line for the cause of justice. May Allah grant us the strength to stand in solidarity with the oppressed and to remain resilient in the face of adversity. Allahumma Ameen. إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد اللهم أعنا على ذكرك وشكرك وحسن عبادتك اللهم أعنا على ذكرك وشكرك وحسن عبادتك اللهم اغفر لنا وللمؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات الأحياء منهم والأموات اللهم ألف بين قلوبنا واجمع ذات بيننا اللهم ثبت أقدامنا وانصرنا على عدوك وعدونا اللهم انصر إخواننا في فلسطين اللهم انصر إخواننا في غزة اللهم انصر إخواننا في الضفة الغربية اللهم انصرهم ولا تنصر عليهم اللهم إنك على كل شيء قدير اللهم تقبل شهداءهم في أعلى عليين اللهم ارحم موتاهم اللهم اشف مرضاهم اللهم انصرهم كما نصرت نبيك محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم على أعدائهم وأعدائك أعداء الدين اللهم آمين وصلى الله على محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. And while we're assembling to pray, I have couple of announcements here. Yeah, please, again, this reminder will have to continue reminding everyone when you come in. Uh, Turn off your cell phone, no cell phone use in the masjid during the khutbah. When leaving the parking lot, again, please, no left turn, turn right, and then you know what to do after that. This is important. After Ramadan, this is the first Friday where we will be offering lunch again today. So the Iona Cafe will be selling lunch today, a box of $10. All the proceeds go to Iona. So please support us and have lunch and enjoy your lunch, inshallah ta'ala. Yeah, and for the Umrah, we have organized the Umrah here with me in November. So if you are planning, this is the Thanksgiving Umrah. So if you are planning on having a nice vacation, if you will, it's not a it's a beautiful vacation actually.